Okay, good morning, everyone. It's good to see your smiling faces this morning. Of course, we have been working on elected officials in all of our social studies classes. So we have a very special guest, which I've told you guys about, Mayor Leonard from Peachtree City. So if we could please give her a warm welcome this morning.
You. Good morning. It's great to see everybody this morning. I appreciate you coming out. I think middle school is my favorite age because they're still listening and they've got sharp questions. So I'm really excited to tell you a little bit about Peachtree City, my election, and my role as mayor. And then we'll be sure to open it up for questions. So I know you have a few. I was elected mayor in 2021, which means I raised my right hand and took an oath of office in January of 2022. I'm serving a 4-year term as mayor of Peachtree City. Before that, let me back up, I ran for city council in 2009 and I won my election. So I served a 4-year term, ran again and served another 4-year term. So as a city council member, I served for 8 years. Then I took a little break. I retired. Noonan called. They asked me if I would please come work part-time for them. I said, wow, I'm really bad at this retirement thing because that sounds like a lot of fun. So I went to Noonan and worked part-time for 3-4 years. And when I was in Noonan, I learned a lot about that nice city, and I like their mayor, and I like the way their city council makes decisions, and I got some ideas I felt that I could bring back to Peachtree City. That's what made me decide to run for mayor. There are 5 of us on the city council of Peachtree City, 1 mayor and 4 city council members. We all serve 4-year terms. Everybody had to get elected. They had to go out and tell everybody why they felt they were the best candidate for the job. You would never want 5 new city council members at the same time, so our 4-year terms are staggered. Myself plus 2 city council members were elected in 2021, and then the other 2 city council members, their 4-year terms overlap by 2 years. So I have 2 new city council members as of January of this year. I can surprise a lot of grown-ups by telling them that in the state of Georgia, municipal, that means city, municipal elections are nonpartisan. There are no Republicans or Democrats when you go to vote for mayor or city council members. And I think that's good. I think that's really important because potholes don't care whether the mayor is a Republican or a Democrat. And being nonpartisan, not R, not D, means that we have the luxury of just working to get the job done. Also, in Peachtree City, we have no districts. Most cities, especially bigger cities, and Noonan, for example, have areas marked off on a map, and so they have 4 districts, and they need a representative from each district, and maybe 1 person is elected at large for the whole city. Well, Peachtree City doesn't have that. All of our city council positions and the mayor are elected at large. There are no districts. We have a form of government called council city manager form of government. Let me back up. In the state of Georgia, you want to think about how many cities there are in the entire state of Georgia. Just think about, what do you think, a couple hundred? Sir? 127 is way too low. Give me another guess. Yes. 500 is a really good guess. There are 526 cities in the state of Georgia, and the vast majority of them have the form of government that we have in Peachtree City and that we have in Brooks, and that's called a city council, city manager form of government. So once I get elected and I have my 4 city council members, the 5 of us together, hire and pay 1 person, just 1 person, and he's called the city manager, and it's his job to run the entire city. So that's a council city manager form of government, and it's the vast majority of the 536 actually cities in the state of Georgia have a city council city manager form of government. It works well, and it keeps the politics separate from the necessary day-to-day operations of the city manager. Does anybody know, think in your head, how many cities we have in Fayette County? Just in Fayette County? Tell me. 5. We have 5 cities in Fayette County. Think about what they are. Say it with me. Peachtree City, Brooks, Tyrone, Fayetteville. What's the 5th one? Woolsey. Nobody gets Woolsey. City of Woolsey, population of about 252, depending on what day it is. The story I love to tell about Woolsey is a few years back, when I was still a council member, all of the municipalities got the option to vote on Sunday alcohol sales. All the cities got to vote on whether or not they should allow in their city Sunday alcohol sales. And you know what the vote was in Woolsey? 20 people in favor, 20 people opposed. It was an absolute tie. Every vote matters. Even one vote, either way, would have tipped the scales and made the difference. So on a 2020 vote, that measure did not advance. The 5 mayors in Fayette County are all good friends. Mayor Langford from Brooks and I and the 3 other mayors get together once a month to have breakfast. We'll meet again next week. And we just really love getting together. Do you have a group of 5 friends? Think in your head of 5 friends that you have so much in common. Either they're your neighbors, or you have the same interests, or you're in the same club here at school. The 5 of us are very good friends, and we get together once a month and talk it all over. What I want to tell you about Peachtree City is in our council, city manager form of government, the city manager is in charge of everything. Think about all the things. Raise your hand if you've ever been to Peachtree City. Thank you for coming to see us. All right, put them down. And think about what you saw when you came to Peachtree City. What's one thing you saw in Peachtree City? Say that louder. You saw the Welcome to Peachtree City sign. Well, we have to take care of all that signage. Yes, young lady. Golf cart paths. We are world famous, I'm not even kidding, world famous for our golf cart paths, and the city has to take care of that. We're up to almost $4 million a year that we spend taking care of those golf cart paths. Yes, sir. Pardon me? Runaway dog. We have a lot of pets in Peachtree City. We have a dog park in Peachtree City, yes. A ramen bar. We have restaurants in Peachtree City, but those developments, those 5 villages, each have a development at the center, and those are in Peachtree City, but they are owned and operated by the developer. So if the ramen bar goes out of business and somebody else comes in instead, that's not my decision as a city. Yes, sir. Children's dentists, all kinds of medical professions, dentistry and retailers. I see one hand up in the very, very back on the left. Yes, ma'am. I didn't hear. The Flying Biscuit, another restaurant. Yeah, I'm glad to know where everybody goes in Peachtree City. All right, what else you will see in Peachtree City is not just golf cart paths, but if you're going to have golf cart paths, you want beautiful green corridors to drive through. So we're very protective of our green spaces. We have a lot of parks, and every park has amenities like playgrounds, play equipment, basketball courts, pickleball. We have baseball fields, we have soccer fields, we have lacrosse fields, we have Kedron Fieldhouse and swimming pool, we have Mead fields for softball, we have all kinds of parks, playgrounds, and amenities for recreation, and everybody loves recreation in Peachtree City. Well, the city takes care of all those fields. So that's another thing that we do. What about if you're in Peachtree City and you see a car accident? What do you call? Who do you call? 911. You call 911. And who comes? Police, fire, ambulance. Peachtree City pays every one of those police officers. And guess what? Police are really expensive. Police need vehicles. The vehicles need technology. Police need training. We have dogs. We keep a rotation of 4 different canines going all the time. And guess what? Those dogs cost $30,000 each dog. A dog comes in with training and veterinary needs, and they're very good at what they do, but boy, they cost a lot of money. I'll get to you in a minute. Right next to City Hall in Peachtree City, we have a library, and our library is very important. We all fund public libraries under the fundamental belief that in a civilized society, everyone should have access, free access to information. I hope you use your local library, whether it's here or in your municipality. Read. Keep your nose in a book. We have public roads and landscaping. Peachtree City takes care of all the roads in our entire city, with the exception, a very huge, important exception, of our state highways. We have 2 state highways running through the middle of Peachtree City. One's called Highway 54, one's called Highway 74, and the state takes care of those. And if you've driven through Peachtree City lately, probably your parents got really frustrated with the traffic at 54 and 74. Head nods, you know exactly what I'm talking about, depending on time of day. It could have taken you half an hour to get through that intersection. Well, the state of Georgia has decided to fix that intersection, and they're putting in a displaced left turn. Get this. It means that if you're going north or coming south on Highway 74 in Peachtree City and you want to turn left, if you're southbound, you want to turn left and go to Fayetteville. If you're northbound, you want to turn left and go to Coweta County. Your left lane will start really, really early. You're going to take a left much earlier than the intersection, and your lane will be way on the other side of oncoming traffic. I'm telling the grown-ups, you're gonna think that you are in the wrong lane. And you sit there looking at oncoming traffic to your right until you get your light. And then what that means is northbound 74 and the left turns, and southbound 74 and the left turns will all go at the same time. And so that leaves more phase time for the east-west on Highway 54. So the Georgia Department of Transportation is hard at work at that intersection. They're working at night, and they're not closing any lanes during the day. And they're paying for the project. It's about a $19 million project, so it's all good. Peachtree City has a budget, and our city manager's job is to tell me what he needs to run the city for 1 year. You want to think about how many millions of dollars. Now we have 40,000 people in Peachtree City to take care of. We have all the parks and paths and everything that I told you about, recreation and amenities, public safety. You want to think about how many millions of dollars it takes to run Peachtree City for 1 year. Who haven't I heard from yet? Yes, ma'am. Blue. 7 million. It's way more than $7 million. Right behind you. $1 billion is way too much, thank goodness. I don't want to have to manage a $1 billion budget. Yes, sir. 300 million is high. Yes, Mavericks in the gray. 253 million is too high, thank goodness. All right, I'm just going to tell you, it's $56 million. So if you go home today and tell your folks about what it costs to run Peachtree City just for 1 year, to pay all those people, we have about 350 people on staff, take care of all the fleet vehicles, all the trucks, police cars, pickup trucks, fire trucks. You know, a fire truck, the ladder truck, the big one you think of, costs $1.5 million. $1.5 million for one of those fire trucks. Go ahead and put your hand down for me. $1.5 million for those fire trucks, and the lead time is about 4 years. So we already ordered some fire trucks that we will need in 2 or 3 more years. So we're waiting for that to happen. And then in addition, Peachtree City likes to have special events for our families. People love to get together. Have you ever heard of the Peachtree City 4th of July parade? It's a big one. Yeah. Oh, absolutely. It's a wonderful parade. You're lucky. Then you can probably seat people in your yard and watch it go by. And of course, we have a major fireworks show that costs about $48,000. We love to have people gather together as families. Yes, sir? I don't want Spaghetti Junction in my town. I promise you, as mayor of Peachtree City, we will never have Spaghetti Junction in my town. I won't have it. So, what other events have you been to in Peachtree City? We have night market. We have Sunset Sounds free concerts at Drake Fields. We have Peachtree City Classic Fun Run. We have cool clubs that like to do events in our town. Yes, ma'am, in red. Fireworks, absolutely. We spend a lot of money on that. Yes, sir. Golf clubs are not the city. There are 3 different golf courses in Peachtree City, and they're private. Our paths run to them. Our paths run through them, but those are privately owned. But we have a lot of events in Peachtree City throughout the entire year. It's important to us to be able to communicate as a city out there to all the citizens so they know what's going on. I'm going to talk to the adults for a moment. If you're not already getting a weekly e-newsletter about Peachtree City activities, it's an easy fix. You can go to our website, peachtree-city.org, on the left side, click Notify Me. That's it. Set yourself up. You'll get once a week email, and then you'll know all the things that are happening in Peachtree City. Here's another thing. Yes, sir. Mm. I think we're looking at 28% of our land mass is green space, and it is important because green space mitigates the effects of climate change. You know the importance of trees. It provides habitat for our animals. These areas serve as natural filtration for rain. It turns out Mother Nature does a good job of keeping our waters clean if we let her. And then the human element of protected green spaces is very important. You can feel, if you drive your golf cart through Flat Creek, where there's a boardwalk in the middle of Peachtree City, if you drive your golf cart in that area, you can feel the temperature go down. It makes you feel better. It's important for human consciousness to have those protected green space. So in addition to all of our parks, we've got 3 nature areas in Peachtree City, about 520 total acres. Raise your hand quietly if you've ever been to Line Creek Nature Area and hiked by beautiful Line Creek. Thank you. That's 75 acres. In the middle of Peachtree City, where the boardwalk is, we have Flat Creek. That's 500 acres. And the best kept secret in Peachtree City is on the south side by Summerbee, the senior citizens facility. 46 acres of protected nature area down there. A nice path that our senior citizens take good care of for us, and it goes all the way down to a nice overlook of Line Creek. So in addition to all of our paths, green spaces, and parks, we have 520 acres of protected nature area. A lot of people don't realize that industry is important in a city. And we have a lot of industry in an area on the south side called the Industrial Park. Our Industrial Park has a lot of clean manufacturing facilities like Gerresheimer, Sani, Certainteed. We have, Atlanta Tape and Packaging, Shola IPN. Have you ever bought pouch food? You know babies eat applesauce from the little pouches. They have those plastic tops on them. In Peachtree City, they make those plastic tops in an automated operation that runs 3 shifts a day, and they can't keep up with demand. We have so many industries in our industrial park, and they use the railroad to bring in goods so they can manufacture their parts and then ship the parts out. And we have an airport to support all those manufacturing operations, and that's very important to those companies. Over the weekend, I went to the Commemorative Air Force. We have a lot of, if anybody's interested in aviation, the Falcon Field in Peachtree City is the way to go. The Commemorative Air Force down there will give you a tour of all of their World War II artifacts. And Sunday afternoon, I was there. They had a special focus on women in war, and they had women dressed up in their uniforms from World War II. A nurse, a fighter pilot, a naval officer. It was just a fascinating talk about not just Rosie the Riveter, but so much more. And that is, there is always a display going on down at the airport, and there are always people down there working on rebuilding World War II aircraft. They rebuild them, and then they get in them, fuel them up, turn the key, and fly them. Don't call me. Don't call me. So Peachtree City has a robust communications department. When I took office, we really didn't have a good communications and outreach department, but it's so important to tell your citizens what's going on and make sure they know they can come and tell you what they want in their city. Twice a month, we have our meetings, and it used to be first and third Thursday in the evenings, always open to the public. Everything we do is open to the public. I'm not allowed under Georgia law to meet with more than one of my council members at a time. Remember, there are 5 of us. If 2 of them and I meet at one time, that's a majority, 3 out of 5, and that's called a meeting under state law. I can't do that. So I never, ever get to sit down with 2 of my council members at the same time and talk about city topics. But I can meet with one. And so meeting with my own council members is a really important part of my job. All of our business is conducted in public, and that's in our city council meetings. Starting in October, we made a change. Our first meeting of every month is now in the morning, so that we can include more parents of school-age kids who maybe can't join us in the evenings, and we want to be as inclusive as possible. So last week, Thursday, November 7th, we met in the morning. Our next November meeting will be November 21st, 6:30 p.m. in our city council meeting chambers. And as always, all of our meetings and discussions are open to the public. When you know what, I'm going to open it to questions now because I think the students have a lot to talk about. We'll start here. Yes. Oh my goodness. Peachtree City has a very, very large, important veterans community and a lot of respect for the U.S. military. And yes, we had a ceremony yesterday noon in our city council plaza, our Veterans Plaza, which is where the flagpole is in front of City Hall. It was a very nice ceremony, and Purple Heart means, my fellow city council member, Frank DiStadio, is a U.S. veteran. He was in the Air Force for 32 years, and he led the effort to make Peachtree City a Purple Heart city. And what that means is we have special appreciation for those who have earned a Purple Heart in the line of duty, and we have designated parking spaces, and we acknowledge them in our special events and things like that. Same for Gold Star. Yeah. Yes, sir. What did I say in my speech to get elected for mayor? So when I took a break, remember I told you I was on council for 8 years, and then I took a 4-year break, and then I ran for mayor. And during that 4-year break, I looked at other cities, including Noonan, and I came back home and I realized that nobody was paying attention to our recreation facilities. I don't know if you noticed, but there for a while, our tennis center was in really bad shape. We've just got a wonderful tennis center, and the courts looked poor, and the lighting was bad and needed new ballasts and new bulbs. The buildings were in poor condition, and I just couldn't understand why Peachtree City would let it get that bad. Another example is Riley Fields. Raise your hand quietly if you've ever run on Riley Fields. If you're with Peachtree City Flash, yeah, you know what I'm talking about. Thank you. Riley Fields was so damaged and so old and decrepit, there were weeds growing up between the running lanes. So I knew we needed to pay attention, and a lot of our play equipment at the parks was rusty and damaged and in terrible shape. So when I was running for city council, yes? Yeah, let me finish that one and I'll get back to you. So when I was running for city council, I knew there were 3 things we needed to pay attention to: recreation, roads, I already told you about 5474, and we've got some other projects coming up too. And redevelopment, recreation, roads, and redevelopment. Some of your parents might know about Line Creek Brewery. It's located on Huddleston Road in Peachtree City. It's a very old road. It's a very old area, and guess what? Nobody ever ran sewer pipes down Huddleston Road. All those businesses, Line Creek is on sewer, but Curious Pig Restaurant, all those businesses are trying to operate with no sewer lines. If I could give you a pair of magic glasses that would let you see the pipes under the ground, you'd be amazed by what you can see. There are 3 kinds of pipes that run under the ground. Water pipes. Water pipes bring clean water to your school, your home, all the businesses. Sewer pipes take wastewater away from the businesses, your home, after you take a shower, do a load of laundry, flush a toilet, wash dishes. Where do you think that water goes? It goes to the water treatment facility. Bless you. And we have 2 water treatment facilities in Peachtree City that completely cleans the water and puts it back into the creek. Clean. And the 3rd kind of pipe is storm water. When you're walking your dog and you've got curbs and gutters in your neighborhood and you see a drain, what's going down that drain? Storm water, water from rain, and it's important to channel that in pipes back to the creeks and the lakes so that we don't see erosion. So, what brought me to that? All those 3 different kinds of pipes are under the ground. I tell my high schoolers that if you want an interesting field of study, it's actually fascinating to me. I'm not kidding. You cannot believe the number of really smart people with advanced degrees who work in the field of wastewater, because wastewater is a combination of biology, civil engineering, and environmental studies, and it's always changing, and our standards are always getting more exacting. Yes, sir.
When you said the water that
It's okay, just say it real loud. I gotcha.
when you say the water that's clean goes into the lake, how do you stop it from getting dirty from runoffs?
So to my point earlier, that's a really good question because we always want to guard against erosion. And there are state laws called buffers, about buffers and setbacks. You can't build anything right up to the creek bank of our creeks. And those creeks might look small and unimportant, but all of them contribute to the bigger creeks and the rivers and the lakes. So yes, the Water and Sewer Authority of Peachtree City cleans that water super, super clean and puts it back into Line Creek. Next question, yes. That's a great question. The question is, if you have a homeowners association in your neighborhood, what are their rules, and then what are our rules as a city? So the city has rules, and we have what's called code enforcement. If you've been on our paths, you've probably seen them driving around on golf carts. Code enforcement, I didn't realize this when I became mayor, but it's so cool. Code enforcement has a spray paint can on their golf carts so they can spray over graffiti. They have tools so they can remove signs that aren't supposed to be tacked up on the trees. They have first aid kits so they can help someone who has had like a bicycle accident. And I've talked to code enforcement officials. They do all those things. Code enforcement also looks at the height of your grass. And the city has rules. We call city laws ordinances. We have ordinances about keeping up your property and keeping your yard mowed. But a homeowners association can make even more strict rules, and that's okay. I'll give you another example. We just passed an ordinance on short-term rentals. If you and your family have ever stayed in an Airbnb somewhere, Well, likewise, people are staying in Peachtree City at Airbnbs, and you want them to be able to do that. If you own a house in Peachtree City and you want to rent part of it out, you should be able to do that when visitors come or somebody's grandma comes to town. But on the other hand, you want to maintain the fabric of the neighborhoods and keep the safety and the good looks of our communities up. So we just on Thursday passed a short-term rental ordinance that was 2.5 years in the making. Very nuanced, very controversial, but we did it. Another example, something we're talking about right now, is backyard chickens, backyard hens. Do you think in your head, do you think that if you own a house in Peachtree City, you should be able to raise chickens in your backyard? Quietly raise your hand if you think yes. Awesome. Put them down. Quietly raise your hand if you think no. Thank you. And honestly, there is a certain noise and smell and maybe inconvenience. In our discussions, I learned that having chickens in your backyard might lure predators. It might bring in, and we have foxes and coyotes in Peachtree City. So right now we're in the middle of a talk. I don't know how it's going to turn out. It could be that we allow chickens if you have a certain lot size, if you have a certain amount of space, but those conversations are ongoing. Do we have another question? Yes, ma'am.
Beyond meetings, what other responsibilities do you have?
Beyond meetings, what are my responsibilities? So yes, the mayor's job is to run the meetings. The other responsibility I have is to get together with my other city council members and understand what their priorities are, what their vision is. And I only meet with them one at a time, so that's a lot of meetings. It's also my responsibility to meet with our city manager. Remember, city manager runs the whole city, all 350 people, all 200 plus cars and trucks and golf carts and other vehicles. All of those and that $56 million budget, they all fall under the purview of that city manager. So it's up to me to make sure I know what's going on, talk to my city council members, and build consensus. If I really want something done, you can tell with 5 people voting, we're not going to do it just because I want it done. We're going to do it if 3 people out of 5 want it done and will vote yes. So one of the biggest parts of my job is to get along well with my own council. Put your hand down for just a minute. Is to get along well with my council members and then also get along well with other people. I keep really good friendships. It sounds like it's not important or it sounds cliche to say I keep good relationships, but I keep good relationships with the other mayors. I keep good relationships with Fayette County because we all live in Fayette County, and I keep good relationships with our state representatives. That's really important when we want to get something done. I saw a question in the back. I couldn't hear her. Oh, yeah. So what a good question. The job of mayor in Peachtree City in what we have, the city council, city manager form of government is sometimes called a weak mayor form of government, and that means that all that staff doesn't report to me, so it's not that hard of a job, and I have a lot of free time, and when I leave here today, I'm gonna go play pickleball. True. Also, I'm in it, because we're in the library, I'm in a book club. I've been in the same book club for 24 years, and I always keep my nose in a book. No fooling. In the back. What is difficult? Oh, boy. Sometimes a city council member doesn't want to meet with me. Sometimes they don't want to build consensus or get along, and I have to get along with them, too. Some people like me and some people don't like me, and I have to get along with all of them if we're going to move Peachtree City forward and make good decisions. Another decision coming up will be to install a roundabout at Crosstown Road by where Kmart used to be, Crosstown Road at Peachtree Parkway. We've been at this for 20 years. I call it dithering. We've been dithering for 20 years. And if I can, I will do everything in my power to get that roundabout in. It's much needed. Yes, sir.
What's your favorite thing about being mayor?
My favorite thing about being mayor is doing this. Yeah, I like to go talk to students, and believe it or not, you probably right now know more about municipal government than your parents. You know there are 5 of us. Put your hands down for just a minute, I'll be right with you. You know there are 5 of us. We're elected to 4-year terms. Our terms are staggered, so we never have 5 new people at the same time. You know that we meet how many times a month? 2 times a month. All our meetings are public. And the citizen input and communication is really important to everything that we do. Yes. Microphone.
What is the most easiest thing about your job?
The easiest thing about my job, every once in a blue moon, all 5 of us agree on something. And then we have an easier time of it in our meetings. Yeah, that's wonderful. And truly, I like going out to help people. If someone says, there's a tree on the green space, I'm sure it's going to land in my yard, it's tipping. I know who to call to send somebody out and take a look and just really help our neighbors out. In the back. Does that pay them for what they do? Yes, absolutely. Yes, that's exactly right. It's called salaries. That's to pay their salaries. That's a really good question. And here's something we found out when I took office as mayor. Right now we have 74 police officers in Peachtree City, and they cover 3 shifts. Some of them are in cars, some of them are in a pickup truck, on an ATV on the path, some are on golf carts. We've got police officers everywhere. But when I took office, we had maybe 9 vacancies in the police force, and it was very damaging to Peachtree City to the point where we didn't have the staff to do investigations. So what we had to do was a study of everybody's salary. You talked about salary, not just police officers' salary, but everybody, the librarians, the financial officers, all the people who work for Peachtree City. We studied their job and their salary and compared it with 14 other cities, and we decided we better start paying these people. We had to increase our police officers' salary by 11%. That's a big increase in order to keep them, and guess what? Now we're hiring police officers. I get to swear them in. I tell them, raise your right hand and repeat after me, and they swear their oath, and we have now filled the ranks of our police officers, I'm happy to say. You just have to pay them. Yes?
What's your favorite event that ever happened in Peachtree City?
My favorite event in Peachtree City? Oh, what a good question. I love going to concerts at the Fred on my golf cart. I love our Peachtree City Parade and fireworks. And on the east side of Lake Peachtree, not everybody knows this, there is a group of people that meet sometimes every night in the summertime. They call themselves the Sunset Club. And they come on their golf carts and watch the sun go down. And I like that a lot. Yes? The roundabout's not there yet. We're still planning. After 20 years, we're still talking about it. But in our next, hopefully, before this year is out, we'll have 100% engineering design ready for us to approve. So if we can approve that, then we'll start spending the money. Yes, sir. How many law enforcement officers are there? We have 74. And some of them are specialty trained. There are all kinds of different certifications you can get if you decide to become a police officer. It's really fascinating. There are all kinds of different training you can do, everything from canine training to SWAT team. Way in the back, dark sweatshirt. Why did I want to become mayor? I want to become mayor because I've lived in Peachtree City for 25 years. That's a long time. I raised all 3 of my children there. They went to Huddleston, Booth, and McIntosh. I'm staying in Peachtree City for the rest of my life. I'm retired now, and in my retirement, I decided I would do all that I could to make Peachtree City a better place to live. Yes. Do I get paid? Yes, it's a very small salary, very small. Yes, the money that I get paid comes from that bucket of money that's $56 million, yes. Anybody new? Yes, sir? I know. That's a really good question. It seems counterproductive, doesn't it, if I can't sit down and meet with 2 or 3 of my city council members, but I can't. Because there are state laws that provide that if a council is going to meet, if a majority of council members are going to meet, it needs to be announced publicly and open to the public. All the decisions that we make are in the public. And what else do I do in Peachtree City? I'm in a book club. I'm in the running club. I've signed up for the half marathon in January. I don't know. Wish me luck. I run the Peachtree City Classic every year. I support Rotary and Kiwanis. Those are civic-minded organizations that raise money and do good deeds in Peachtree City. My husband delivers Meals on Wheels, and he's a member of the tennis center, so we're out and about all the time. Yes? What are the types of books in the library? Everything. Everything. Fiction, nonfiction, biographies, and it isn't just books either. There are puzzles and games and CDs and DVDs, and we've got an incredible librarian. She's been our library director for more than 20 years. And you know what? We just had an election, and there was a lot of controversy. Sometimes people come in and they think we shouldn't have that kind of book, or we shouldn't have that kind of book, and they talk to her about it, and she tells them why it's important to have all kinds of books in our library. I fully support our library director, and we have a great library. Yeah. Is it difficult to navigate? Yes, it is. Very, very. And we have 5 people elected, and we all have strong opinions about what we want for Peachtree City going forward. Fortunately, remember those 536 cities that I talked about, 536 in the whole state? We're all members of an organization called Georgia Municipal Association, and they provide us training. So anything we want to get trained on, learn more, go to a class, always take more classes and learn more about human resources or municipal budgeting or economic development, whatever it might be. Yes, ma'am. What's my least favorite part of the job? Sometimes I come into a city council meeting knowing that I'm going to get beat. It happens. I don't get everything my way. I don't get to decide everything. Our body of 5 people decides what's going to happen next, and sometimes it's not my way. Okay. Okay, so beyond meetings, what other responsibilities do I have? My responsibilities are to build good relationships with my fellow city council members, build good relationships with other entities like our sister cities and the county and the state. I have a responsibility to set a vision for the future. We're going to have a city council retreat in January and hopefully start a strategic plan for Peachtree City, so we have a plan as to the way forward for the next 20 years. Our decisions that we make today are not just for today, they're for the next 10 years and 20 years and beyond. What's your question? Am I going to run for mayor next term? Next year is my 4th and last year of this 4-year term, and yes, I plan to run again. Tell your parents. Is your job difficult? Can you give a few examples? I think I've covered that. Sometimes I come into a meeting knowing I'm going to get beat on a certain topic. And sometimes, if I meet with my council members ahead of time, we exchange ideas and decide together how we want it to be when it's time to vote in a meeting. Let's see here. What kind of a campaign did I have? I stood for roads, recreation, and redevelopment. Oh, that's why I was talking about sewer. On Huddleston Road, we are going to move forward, and we're going to dig it up. It's going to be a big mess for about a year, maybe more, but we're going to run sewer, we're going to run stormwater, and we're going to finally make it nice for golf carts with a nice golf cart path along that corridor. And while we're at it, I'd like to do some kind of good-looking place making so that it's an area where we like to walk at night, or maybe we could have small music venues, small vendor venues, and so we're going to get a good design for Huddleston Road and redevelop that area. Also, maybe more of the grown-ups knew Big Shots, the restaurant, Big Shots, and there was a gun range. This is on Highway 74 behind our police headquarters. Well, guess what? That place went up for sale, so we bought it. So Peachtree City now has, here we were about to spend $3 million expanding our police headquarters just for a few extra couple thousand square feet. Well, now we use that same amount of money to buy the Big Shots facility, and we get a kitchen, a gun range, and training space. So for the same amount of money we were going to spend to expand our existing police headquarters by about 3,000 square feet, now we have 21,000 square feet and some acreage back there. So I'm very excited that that was unexpected. The thing just came up for sale, and we had some extra money in our savings account. Save your money. We had some extra money that's called reserves, and we were able to buy those properties, and now we're going to renovate it and build a police operations, public safety center. And our senator, John Ossoff, federal senator, is helping us find grant money so that we can fund that renovation. Sir.
What advice would you give a current sixth grade student looking back at your sixth grade self and preparing them or preparing us for where you're at now and what comes next?
That's a great question because I never majored in political science. I mean, I thought social studies was okay, but I really liked math. So I became an engineer. I worked for General Motors assembly plants across the country, putting in robotic systems. I'm a very methodical thinker, and that would serve you well. All different backgrounds come to run for city council. A lot of elected leaders have a varying background, and whatever your background is, just stay connected and stay informed. All our meetings are open to the public, and I would love to see you there.
So we would like to give a big round of applause to Ms. Leonard.
Thank you. Thank you.
On behalf of Liberty Tech Charter School, I would just like to thank you so much for coming and sharing your expertise with us. I know that I gained a lot of knowledge, and I'm sure all of my students and my colleagues have gained a lot of knowledge as well.
Thank you so much.
Thank
you for
you
having
very
me.
much.
Thank you.